Hi, I'm Charles with AniCap. The story begins on an island where a group of hunters face off against several giant monster ants. Their leader gets up close and personal with one as he explains that they must hold the monsters back at all costs and they cannot retreat. This group is quickly overwhelmed by the overgrown insects and their leader begins to lose consciousness. One of the ants is snacking on his insides and the leader's life begins to fade away. Just then, a man rescues him from becoming ant food and shocks the leader with his unbelievably powerful healing magic. The leader screams as this man is about to be attacked as well, but he is quickly saved, and the man that saved him calls on his teammate to follow up his attack. This next teammate is an absolute beast as he smacks around the monsters. The first group realizes that they were just side characters all along, and they are amazed as it becomes very clear that these guys that came to rescue them are S-rank hunters. These guys finish off the red ants, but an even bigger albino ant appears. The attackers decide to engage the leader while leaving the wounded to the healer. These powerful warriors initiate the fight and use incredible teamwork to rip off the thing's face arms. The powerful S-rank warrior then uses one of these face arms to absolutely destroy the giant pigmentless ant. There is no time to celebrate though as the albino army arrives. It turns out that the giant powerful ant was just one of many, but these hunters fear nothing. The mage powers up his lightning, and the brute goes into roid rage mode, causing his giant muscles to destroy his clothes. Their fight can be seen from the city, where another man is glad that they were able to make it in time. This guy's name is Mr. Choi, and he is busy as the city seems to have a serious ant problem as well. He lights them up with some serious flames, leaving only the colorless ones. There's nothing to worry about though, as he has his team of exterminators to fight them. We then learn that over 10 years ago, portals that could connect to a different dimension suddenly appeared in the world. All types of monsters come from the portal, and only people with awakened special abilities stood a chance at fighting them. These people are called hunters. Based on their magical powers, hunters are classified by rank ranging from S, which is the highest, to E, the lowest. However, the problem these hunters face is that once their powers are awakened, their abilities can no longer be developed no matter how hard they try. 3 years pass from the day of the ant infestation, and we find ourselves in a city. A large group is preparing for a raid mission, and a guy named Kim welcomes some dude with a mullet and sweet-looking mutton chop sideburns. The two guys catch up and hope to make a lot of money if their mission is successful. Finally, our protagonist arrives, and we learn that his name is Jin Woo. Everyone recognizes him, and they all say hello. Mutton Chop's name is Parks. He hasn't been around for a while because he's been watching too many AniCap videos, so he wonders why everyone is greeting Jinwoo, and questions if that means he is really strong. Kim explains that Jinwoo is actually infamous for the exact opposite reason. He just joined the group recently, but has already been given the nickname, the weakest hunter of all of mankind. It's a pretty lazy nickname if you ask me, but it's not an exaggeration. Jinwoo was even injured in an E-rank dungeon and hospitalized. Jinwoo being called there is a sign that this mission they're about to go on is an easy one. The guys try their best not to let Jinwoo hear their conversation, but Jinwoo heard it all, and he can't deny a single word of what they said. Just then, a girl named Juhee arrives, and she's upset to see that Jinwoo has been injured yet again. He was the only one injured during an E-rank mission, and the group didn't even have a healer, because they assumed the mission would be so easy that no one would get hurt. Juhee is mad at his team, but Jinwoo has already accepted the fact that he's just too weak. He has already gotten used to it, but there's no time to throw a pity party as the next mission is about to begin. A man named Song Chi introduces himself to the team and proposes that he be the captain for this mission. He is the highest ranked hunter among them, so they are all glad to have him be their leader. With that decided, the mission begins and everyone starts entering the gate. Kim tells Jinwoo to sit close to the group so he doesn't get injured, and Juhee enters the gate with everyone else. Before Jinwoo enters, he takes a look at his pitiful, sorry excuse for a weapon. A small blade with little magical power. Our boy spent all his money on worthless NFTs and barely gets any income, so that's all he can afford. Jinwoo is determined to do better this time and enters the gate. Elsewhere, president of the Hunters Association named Go just finished a meeting with the government where he was told that they need to avoid something called dungeon break. However, these same people demanded that they supply the goods acquired from the dungeon. Those in the association make a living by reselling goods acquired from the dungeon, so he doesn't have a problem with the request. The crystals obtained from defeating magic beasts are known as magic gems, and they are sold in exchange for money. Back with Jinwoo, we see that he has somehow managed to obtain a magic gem. Of course, he is excited to finally have gotten one, but he must quickly defend himself from a goblin. This thing is relentless, and Jinwoo's blade shatters to pieces when he attacks it. The goblin stabs our boy, and Juhi just stands around screaming. Luckily, the big guy from earlier runs past the useless girl and rescues our injured protagonist. Parks moves on to look for the next beast, leaving Juhi to heal Jinwoo. While she heals him, Jinwoo can only watch as the rest of the team does all the work. We then learn that magic gems obtained from high-rank magic beasts can be made into more powerful weapons to defeat stronger magic beasts. Mana crystals from the dungeon can also be weapons, but their effects are not nearly as good as those of the magic gems. The government wants to use these items as a new type of energy. It's safer and more efficient than all the other types of power, and it even causes less pollution. It's the ideal green energy, and the government is desperately researching how to generate electricity from the gems and crystals. These items can only come from the dungeon, so that makes the hunters extremely valuable. Back in the dungeon, the team celebrates after defeating the dungeon boss. Jinwoo really must be the weakest to ever exist, as he took a ton of damage, and Juhi is still healing him. She wonders why he chose to become a hunter in the first place, since he's always getting injured, and he will surely meet his end one day. Jinwoo apologizes, but his words mean nothing, and she is just worried about him. Everyone gets their spoils from the battle, but there weren't many mana crystals, and they likely won't make much money. Jinwoo wonders if it's really over, and ends up being a bit disappointed to have only gotten a small E-rank gem. Doubt begins to creep in, and he determines that it's not enough to be risking his life over. Just then, one of the guys finds a deep cave, and they wonder if they have entered some kind of double dungeon. This does make sense since they have defeated the boss, but the dungeon isn't closing. Everyone gets excited, but Songchi explains that in these situations, they are to report their finding to the Hunters Association and follow their instructions. The guys complain though and point out that this would mean they would be giving up a chance at finding valuables in an unexplored area. They also point out that it's only a D-rank dungeon, so it shouldn't be so dangerous. Kim then guilts the captain by pointing out that Mullet Man's wife is pregnant with their second child, so they need more money than the stuff they already found will provide. Songchi is concerned about the unknown dangers of the unexplored area, so they take a vote. The vote ends up being tied, with the last one to vote being Jinwoo. Everyone then just waits around, as Jinwoo thinks about how dangerous a D-rank dungeon is for him. However, his father is missing, and he's the only one in his family that can make money. His sister has to go to college so she doesn't end up stupid like him, and his mother has some serious hospital bills. Jinwoo needs money in a bad way, so he votes that they go. Back in the city, some dude is told to place his hand on a black crystal. Some research lady does something on her little computer and calls on the next person. It turns out that these people are being tested to see how strong they are and what rank they will receive. This place is also the best place to recruit newly ranked hunters, and one suit tells Mr. Choi that they have signed a B-rank hunter and 2 C-rank hunters to join them. Mr. Choi is glad to hear it and expresses how he wants anyone with talent recruited, regardless of age or gender. He is hoping to recruit all the best hunters, but he is sure that they already have one of the strongest in someone named Cha Hae. Elsewhere, some thieves steal a purse and prepare to run over a girl that's in their way. This girl fearlessly takes the purse from these guys, but doesn't even make a single expression, like it's just a normal day. This girl is Cha Hae, and everyone marvels at the famous S-rank hunter. She is practically a celebrity, but she can't handle all the attention. Her fans are amazed by her, and she takes off in the most over-the-top way possible. Back in the dungeon, Sanchi explains that the portal closes 1 hour after the boss is defeated, and they have already been walking through the cave for 40 minutes. Jinwoo apologizes to Juhi for forcing her to come along because of his vote, but she's more upset about how he doesn't worry more about his own life. If he had been stabbed even just a little bit higher, then he would not be alive. On top of that, she was barely able to heal his hands and feet. She just keeps scolding him, and he realizes that it's only because of the B-rank healer Juhi that he was able to survive. Jinwoo is very apologetic, so she explains that he can really apologize by treating her to a meal next time. Jinwoo is shocked by how forward she is being, but their little discussion is interrupted when the team finds the boss room. It's rare to find rooms with immense doors like this one, so something doesn't feel right. Kim refuses to go back empty-handed, so he is determined to enter, and the others join him. Back in the city, a group of hunters go through some kind of orientation as they watch a video of Go. He explains that the portal has existed for more than 10 years, and there are still many mysteries unsolved in the dungeon. Being a hunter is a dangerous profession, so even the most experienced ones cannot let their guard down during a raid mission. They cannot be arrogant, and there's one main key to surviving. That key is to be very cautious. Back in the dungeon, we see that this group of idiots have completely forgotten those words, and are entering the mysterious, dangerous, and completely unexplored room. These guys act super casual, like they're on some kind of field trip, as it's their first time seeing this type of dungeon. The statues seem to be at least a century old, and some are holding strange musical instruments. Jinwoo stares at the biggest one, and Juhee becomes uneasy with how eerily quiet it is in there. Everyone wonders where the boss is, and Songchi stares at what looks like a magic circle on the ground. His attention is called to a tablet with some ancient writing, and it has some commandments on it. It's all about worshipping some type of god, but Songchi is more concerned with something else. She is certain that she just saw the giant statue's eyes move, and it was looking right at them. Jinwoo thinks she's just losing her mind, but everyone is shocked when the door abruptly closes. One lady wonders if they are trapped, but some gym teacher looking guy shoves her out of the way. He knew going there was a mistake, and scolds them all for underestimating the dungeon. He tries to leave as he doesn't care about the treasures anymore, but the entire half of his body is instantly sliced off by one of the statues. Everyone is horrified, and they wonder if this statue is what they're supposed to be fighting. Jinwoo is the most shocked among them. The guy that just got wiped out in 1 second was a D-rank hunter. He was definitely stronger than an E-rank hunter like himself, so he knows that he has no chance against the statue. None of what's happening makes any sense to him, as this is supposed to be a D-rank dungeon. While everyone panics, Jinwoo comes to a terrifying realization. If that statue was able to move, then that might be true for the other statues. Jinwoo looks to the giant statue and is shocked when it looks right back at him. A look back into some of Jinwoo's history shows that he has been through many life and death situations. In his first mission, he was separated from his team and attacked. In another, he almost starved to death when trapped in a maze. He was also injured by an E-rank magic beast and hospitalized for weeks. Even the lowest ranked dungeons are life and death for him. Usually, hunters acquire gems, then use the money they get from them to buy stronger weapons. Those weapons are then used to defeat stronger beasts and get higher rewards. That isn't the case at all for Jinwoo though, as he has nothing more than a cheap little knife. If it ever gets damaged in a fight, then he has to fight barehanded. His clothes are worn down and his shoes have holes in them. He endures constant ridicule from others, and he does this dangerous job that doesn't even earn much. The only way he's able to survive is by looking for loopholes, and he does this by carefully observing everything around him. Back to the present, Jinwoo instantly senses the danger from the giant statue, but his warning to the others isn't fast enough. The giant unleashes a powerful beam from its eyes, causing massive destruction. The team is horrified and they can't believe what is happening. Juhee trembles in fear, and Jinwoo wonders how things ended up this way. They are trapped with no way out, and he's shocked to realize that he will be killed. Songchi instructs everyone to stay where they are, as the statue will surely attack again if they move. Juhee is too terrified to move, and Songchi disobeys his own orders to tell Jinwoo that he did a good job. If he hadn't noticed what was happening, then they would have all lost their lives. Songchi is a seriously tough guy, as Jinwoo is shocked to see that he is now one arm short. Jinwoo must stop the bleeding for him, as their healer Juhee is in the fetal position because she can't handle the pressure. She is actually a B-rank healer, but her cowardice makes it so she can only participate in easy raids. Songchi has taken part in many B-rank raids himself, so he can tell that this statue is an A-rank, or maybe even an S-rank. The tablet had things written about praising God or there would be consequences, so Jinwoo determines that this god it spoke of must be the statue. We then learn that 10 years ago, gates appeared all over the place and gave rise to a number of supernatural phenomena. An example of this are the people that awaken to special powers known as hunters. They are tasked with defeating the monsters in the dungeons, and a hunter's power once active never changes. At school, Jinwoo's sister tells some girl about how her brother's always getting hurt. This girl can't believe that Jinwoo is a hunter and remarks that she would be a better hunter than him. Back in the dungeon, Songchi wants to think of a plan to get out, but some dude gets really impatient. He just signed a contract to join some famous guild, so he can't afford to die there. This guy is confident that with his insane speed, that he can get away. This guy really does have amazing speed as he takes off running, but the statue absolutely disintegrates him, leaving only his really fast feet behind. This makes it pretty clear that this statue could wipe them out in an instant if it wanted to, and it would be easy for it too. That begs the question, why doesn't it just do it? Jinwoo realizes that it must have something to do with the first commandment, which is to revere God. Jinwoo stands up as he has come up with an idea and gets a real determined look on his face. Songchi is concerned but is amazed to see that from the look in Jinwoo's eyes, he hasn't given up on surviving this ordeal. Jinwoo looks the statue right in its eyes, but manages to stop it from attacking at the very last moment. He has figured something out and tells everyone to bow their heads. Jinwoo assumes that revering God means that as long as they keep their head low, it won't attack. Everyone else is too dumb to think of another plan, so they all bow down to the statue. They are all terrified as they can't see much and wonder if this will really be enough. Everyone freaks out though when the statue makes a terrifying face. Mutton Chop Sideburns gets up against everyone's recommendation and he gets all excited because the statue isn't attacking anymore. Everyone follows his lead, but Jinwoo feels like there is more to this. Just then, the statue shockingly stands up. The team's supposed leader turns to Jinwoo now, as he hopes that he has some kind of plan. Unfortunately, Jinwoo doesn't, but he is certain that they can't break the commandments set by the tablet. The second commandment was to praise God, so one brave long-haired man steps forward to give something a try. He begins to pray to this thing, and everyone thinks it's working as the monster slows down. Jinwoo knows better though, and reveals that the guy's words don't apply to this god. The statue instantly stomps on this poor guy, and everyone freaks out. Absolute mayhem breaks out as some side character girl gets crushed, and everyone decides it would be best to spread out. Parks thinks about how he can't leave his family without a father, but he picks the wrong place to stay still, as another statue slices him in two. As Jinwoo runs with Juhei, he desperately tries to think of the meaning behind praising God. This monster is practically the devil, so he can't think of anything to praise about it, but what he does know is that he can't leave Juhei alone. As everyone loses their lives around them, Jinwoo frantically searches for clues. As he looks at everything the statues are holding, he comes up with an idea and tells everyone to go to the statues that are holding instruments. Everyone does just that, and it becomes clear that these statues don't attack. Instead, they play their instrument. The one Jinwoo arrives at doesn't play its music, so it becomes clear that it doesn't work with two people. After Jinwoo leaves Juhei, the statue plays music, and Jinwoo rushes to find his own statue. The giant statue nearly crushes him, but a scream points out that Jinwoo has landed in front of the wrong statue. This statue slams its shield right on top of him, causing Juhei to scream out to Jinwoo. Jinwoo is still alive, but in really bad shape. He is determined not to give up, but the giant prepares to end his life once and for all. Jinwoo refuses to die as the giant slams its foot down, but a statue begins to sing, and we see that Jinwoo made it to a statue just in time. He realizes that this is what it means to praise God, and the giant statue takes its seat. Jinwoo tells Juhei that he is fine, but she is stunned to see that his foot was ripped off. He tries to tell Juhei that he will be fine, but she refuses to listen. She is determined to heal him, but her body begins to fail. Everyone is stunned to see how horrifyingly terrible the raid has gone. One guy even tells Songchi that losing his arm was karma for leading them down this path as their leader. The others think that's a bit too harsh, but Songchi takes full responsibility. Jinwoo is way smarter than all these people though, as he knows that there's no time to be fighting since there is still one more commandment left. Just then, the giant raises an altar at the center of the room. Jinwoo knows them well from legends, where they are used for offering treasure and sacrifices to the gods. The third commandment was proving your faith to God. Kim assumes that the sacrifice must be someone's life, and he couldn't think of a better candidate than their leader. They have all had to witness the deaths of their team, and Songchi is the one responsible. Songchi decides to go to the altar, but Jinwoo points out that it isn't all his fault, since they voted to come down there. A fire appears as Songchi approaches the altar, and he asks Jinwoo if there's something else he needs to do. Jinwoo is not only the smartest of the bunch, he is also the bravest, as he asks the others to help him get to the altar so he can examine it. Jinwoo doesn't think anything bad will happen to them, so they take him and they find that more flames appear. Songchi keeps asking Jinwoo for answers, but he hasn't come up with anything yet. Songchi explains that the gate has been open for a week, so the statues will likely start moving again before anyone comes to rescue them. Jinwoo recalls how it takes 7 days for a gate to open all the way, and that is called a dungeon break. When that happens, the beasts are able to cross over to the other side. One of the main objectives of raids is to defeat the dungeon boss and shut the gate down before that time is up. This means that if they fail to defeat this boss now, then that terrifying giant will be able to enter their world. Back in their world, Gina goes to see Jinwoo's mother. She chats it up with her, but their mother is in really bad shape. In the dungeon, Jinwoo tells the cowards of the group to come towards the altar since he predicts that they need a flame to light up for each person. Once they do, more flames appear and the door opens right up. They fear that it might be a trap, and the other statues shockingly begin to start moving towards them. Everyone panics, but Jinwoo keeps his calm to analyze the situation. This absolute genius realizes something else and tells everyone to keep their eyes open, as the statues won't move if they are watching them. Everyone listens to his orders and it surprisingly works. Everyone does their best to keep their eyes on the terrifying statues, but one woman succumbs to fear and tries to run for the door. The second she crosses the circle, her fire goes out, but she does manage to run out the door. Song-chi can't understand what's happening. The door clearly closed a bit, but the girl did seem to make it out. He thought they needed to stay in the circle, so of course he turns to Jinwoo for answers. Jinwoo is just as confused, but he once again analyzes everything. The blue flames have been dying out over time. One of the orange ones went out when someone escaped. The first order was to revere, the second was to praise, and the third is to prove their faith. Jinwoo is certain that the door must be a trap. This situation is causing danger and fear, and now offering a false sense of hope. This makes him wonder if it's testing their faith in this god. Jinwoo is tossed to the ground as the next idiot decides to make a run for it, and the same thing happens. His flame goes out, the door closes a bit, and he seems to escape. Kim has thoughts of leaving, but Jinwoo warns everyone not to move. If anyone else leaves, they won't have enough eyes to keep the statues from moving. He reminds everyone that as long as they keep their eyes on the statues and don't move, they will be safe. Jinwoo shows more of his deduction skills, as he has determined that the blue flames serve as a timer, and when they are all gone, they will be able to leave. Kim points out that there is also a chance that they will just get trapped when the timer runs out. He concedes that he didn't expect Jinwoo, who is their weakest member, to have pulled off as much as he has. The only reason they are alive now is because of him. However, Kim has a family waiting for him, and he doesn't want to die. He just wants to make it home and can't risk Jinwoo being wrong. Kim apologizes and runs out the door. With not enough eyes to keep watch of all the statues, they begin to move again. Jinwoo still refuses to lose his life here and reminds himself that he has managed to make it out of tough situations before. Things are clearly worse than ever though, and Song-chi shockingly tells Jinwoo and Joo-hae to leave. He predicts that the door will stay open as long as one person remains by the altar. The two of them have long lives to live, so he insists that they should be the ones to go. Song-chi wants Joo-hae to look after Jinwoo, but her legs give out on her. Things couldn't possibly get any worse, and Song-chi realizes that Joo-hae must have overexerted herself while healing Jinwoo. Things have taken quite the turn, so Jinwoo tells them to leave him behind. Joo-hae needs someone to carry her out of there, and Song-chi's the only one with 2 working feet. Joo-hae thinks she should be the one to be left behind, but Jinwoo reminds her that he promised to take her out to lunch. He gives her his gem so she can buy a meal with it, and promises to get the change when he gets out of the dungeon. Joo-hae refuses to leave him behind, but Song-chi apologizes and knocks her lights out, as they really are out of time. He apologizes to Jinwoo as well, and leaves him behind to take Joo-hae to safety. Jinwoo can at least take solace in knowing that he will be the only one who has to die, and his only regret is that he didn't take out a better life insurance policy. Jinwoo grabs a hold of a sword, as he is determined to at least take one of these statues down with him, and tells them to bring it on. The statues savagely start attacking him, and Jinwoo gets tossed around. As he struggles to survive, Jinwoo thinks about how he has always been the weakest. He has been mocked for it time and time again, but he has always tried as hard as he could. These statues are relentless as they cut off one of his arms, and Jinwoo screams in agony. Jinwoo is furious that it has to end this way since he tried so hard to be stronger. The statues cause him even more pain and thrash him about further. Jinwoo continues to think about how even though he failed to get stronger, he still gave it his all to get this far. Jinwoo motions to yell in anger one more time, but he can't even do that as he is stabbed through the chest. Jinwoo is just barely alive, but rage overwhelms him as he thinks about the first few people that ran from the altar. They said they just couldn't take it anymore, but Jinwoo points out that they all felt that way, and all they were doing was justifying their own selfishness. The supposed gratitude they felt was superficial, and it's always the most selfish people who benefit the most. Rage fills him even more as he thinks about how he has family too, and he wanted to make it home alive just like they did. He screams in pain as these statues torment him even more, and Jinwoo begins to wonder if it's really a good thing that he's the only one that has to die. As Jinwoo's tattered body lies on the altar, he wonders how he could have thought that way and calls himself a hypocrite. Jinwoo tries to breathe and thinks about how he doesn't want to die. The final attack comes crashing down on him, and Jinwoo wishes that he could just have one more chance. The final blue flame goes out, but a mysterious notification pops up, revealing that a secret quest called Courage of the Weak has been completed. The qualifications to be a player have been acquired, and it asks for it to be accepted. The player's heart will stop in a fraction of a second if not accepted, and the button saying yes is pressed. Thanks for watching my recap. Sign up to my free newsletter if you want to show some support to the channel. Link is in the description.